The station floated in silence above the shattered moon of Keras 9, a remote outpost forgotten by most of the Galactic Coalition. It was a decommissioned facility, manned only by a skeleton crew of 4 or 5 if you counted me, the unpaid maintenance tech they forgot to fire. I was Jensen, a 34-year-old ex-cargo pilot with a bad record and even worse luck. After a court-mandated psychological evaluation, I got stuck here fixing oxygen filters, sweeping corridors, and making sure the backup fusion cells didn't explode. I hadn't spoken to anyone face-to-face in weeks. Until the prisoner arrived. They brought her in shackled and sedated. A female of the Xeralith species, known for their shimmering exoskin, pheromone-based communication, and a long history of hostile relations with humans. She was dumped in cell A6, labeled High Threat, Do Not Engage. Her name, they told us, was Vaelari. She had allegedly led a Xeralith strike against a human colony ship, resulting in 27 casualties. I didn't know if the charges were true, but it wasn't my job to ask. The guards barely looked at her. No one talked to her. No one except me. Middle. Started simple. She wasn't eating. The nutrient paste they slid through her cell slot came back untouched day after day. The guards didn't care. They figured starvation was her choice. But on day 5 something in me snapped. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe guilt. I remembered what it was like to be caged and forgotten, after the crash that killed my crew and the trial that nearly buried me. So, I made something simple. A warm bowl of synth rice and protein cubes with a little spice, and brought it to her cell. When I slid it in, she didn't move. Just stared at me with violet-tinted eyes that shimmered beneath her translucent facial plating. I whispered, "You're going to die like this." Her head tilted slowly. Then, to my shock, she reached out and took the bowl. Her clawed fingers were delicate, precise. She didn't eat like an animal. She ate like a person who hadn't been treated like one in years. That night I didn't tell anyone. The next day, she was waiting near the slot. So I did it again. Brought food. Real food. Something made with care, even if the ingredients were fake. This time she nodded, a gesture I assumed meant thanks. Then she spoke. Not in words, but in soft vibrations that resonated through the walls. My implant translated it seconds later. "Why?" I hesitated. "Because you looked like you needed it," I said. She didn't respond. But after that, she always looked for me when I passed. No more silence. No more ignoring me. Instead, she'd stand near the glass when I walked the corridor. Her eyes tracking me with a quiet intensity that made the guards nervous. They joked about it. "She's got a thing for you, Jensen," said Cole, the youngest guard. "Probably wants to mate and eat him," joked Rhea, the medic. But I saw something different. She stopped growling when I was nearby. Stopped resisting the med scans. Her breathing pattern stabilized. Her posture relaxed. Something was changing. Then the incident happened. A replacement guard, Riggs, young, cocky, and armed, decided to have a little fun. He tried to prod Vaelari through the force field, mocking her in the guttural mockery of the Xeralith tongue. He snapped. Happened too fast. One moment she was still. The next, she lunged, smashing herself against the barrier with a scream that made every light in the hall flicker. Riggs laughed, until she said something that chilled me. "Hurt him, and I will make your bones music." It wasn't the threat. It was that she was talking about me. The next day, I found her sitting in the center of her cell, staring at nothing. I knelt by the slot. "Why did you say that?" She looked at me. "You fed me. That is no small thing in my culture." Waited. "You acknowledged I live. You gave without requirement. Now, you are mine." Blinked. "What does that mean exactly?" protection, allegiance. It is what we offer those who honor us. I was stunned. She was claiming a kind of life debt. And the way she said mine wasn't possessive in a creepy way. It was ancient, ritualistic. It was something sacred. After that, things spiraled. She refused to eat unless I brought the food. She wouldn't respond to medical checks unless I was present. She wouldn't even move unless I gave permission. At first, the staff was annoyed. Then they got scared. "She's bonded to you," Rhea said one night while checking my vitals. "That's rare. That's not supposed to happen with a Xeralith. Not with a human. Is it dangerous? It's unknown." They tried to rotate my schedule. Tried to keep me away from the detention wing. She went feral. Smashed the light panels. Screamed non-stop for 14 hours. Wouldn't eat. Wouldn't sleep. Not until I was brought back. Indy. The coalition sent a delegation to evaluate her mental state. The usual xenopsychologists, linguists, a diplomat. They wanted to transfer her to a secure black site on Mars. She refused. Flat out. With full translation. "I will not go where he is not. You try, and I will end every one of you." They laughed at first. Until she melted a guard's rifle with a hiss of heat from her claws, without even touching it. She was evolving. Something in her biology was shifting. Faster, stronger, more adaptive. I suspected it was from her time in confinement. Or maybe from the strange connection between us. The coalition ordered her sedated and moved by force. That night, I found her curled up on her cot, silent. I crouched outside her cell. "They're going to take you." She looked at me. "Will you let them?" I didn't answer. She slid closer to the glass. "You think I am a monster. But you fed the monster. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I didn't want you to die alone." She blinked. Long, slow. "Then let us not die apart." The escape was her idea. I never agreed to it. Not out loud. But she knew. On the day of the transfer, she timed it perfectly. When they opened her cell, she unleashed a concussive shock from her chest. Some internal biological mechanism I'd never seen before. While the guards staggered, she reached for me. Not with claws but with open hands. Took them. We ran. Through smoke, down side corridors, through maintenance tunnels only I knew how to navigate. She never let go of my hand. Even when the sirens wailed, even when bullets tore past us. She shielded me. I got us to the docked courier shuttle. She tore through the airlock like it was cardboard. When we launched, she pressed her forehead to mine. Now we are both hunted. It's been 4 months. We're on the fringe now, past the edge of map space. Living out of a scavenged transport ship retrofitted for long-term survival. She still doesn't let anyone near me. Even out here, when we stop for supplies on dead moons or barter with smugglers, she watches like a hawk. Once a trader got too friendly. Put a hand on my shoulder. She made him leave in a medical pod with 3 broken ribs and a story no one would believe. I'm not sure what we are. I'm not sure I care. She speaks more now. Learns my language. Tries human food. She laughs. Xeralith laughter is like a series of short, melodic vibrations, and I find myself smiling more. Sometimes at night, when the stars blur past our viewport, she curls next to me. Not like a beast. Like someone who's never been given the chance to feel safe. I fed a prisoner once.